Hi, welcome guys. It's my third class in Python. I know it's been a while that I have done the classes. So today, the last class, I know we talked about loops and variables. So in this class, we're going to be talking about how to handle files in Python. So we already saw variables and loops, strings, how to use them. And now we are going to open a file and we're going to do some work on it. So the data I chose today for us to work with is the worldometer data. It is a CSV file. I downloaded from a data set called, let me see, I'll show you here, Kaggle database. So there is a database called kaggle.com, and we can get a lot of data sets there, like free for us to work in any data science projects. So I took actually the COVID data set from this website. So you can take any data that you want. And I actually already saved the CSV file in my folder. So let me open the CSV file in my Finder just for you to see what is in the data. Okay. So, so this is the CSV file I opened. It has different country information and the continent information, population, total cases of COVID. It's from Worldometer. Okay. So we're just going to use this consolidated latest data that I got from to do some analysis. So we will use this data maybe more than today's class to understand few commands here in Python, how to use it. So the first one I want to go through here is some libraries, OS and CSV, right? So whenever we want to import a library in Python, we use something called imports and OS. So when you install Python, some of the libraries already comes with it, and some of the libraries you have to install it, right? So now I go import OS. Right now, import CSV. If you get an error, this library not found, probably like you have to install it. But these are basic libraries which will be always there in Python, right? So I'm just going to do some work using the OS and also the CSV. I wanted to try OS dot. Basically, these commands you can actually check in the Python OS list directory. So if you go to the docs.python website that I was referring earlier, here you can actually see different commands here for OS, right? So I'm just going to use few commands here. It's OS name. Let's say what's telling for 6. So right now, the purpose of the command here is I wanted to read this file, which is in the same folder here, right? So I'm just going to put COVID data equal to, let me copy paste this file. CSV. So for example, before using more on the command, normally it's always a best practice to put the data in a different folder, right? So I'm just going to create a folder and rename it as data, right? And I'm going to move this one to the data, okay, folder. So inside the data folder now I have this one. Let me go ahead and create two more folders here. Okay, so also input, oops, input, and I say output. So since this file is our input file, let me put it in the input file folder. So we'll work with this. So here, okay, I already have this open, right? Okay. So I put here, I'm going to use the OS command. So I'm going to use something called OS dot path dot join. And I put right now it is in current folder, and I put data input. Okay, basically I have to put the path join is dot current folder, and I have to put data input. Okay, and then put the file name worldometer.csv. So let me try to use this now. Want to see if I'm able to open it. We have a command called with open. You can actually learn more about this in the Python library. When you with open, you have to use the data. You can actually specify the data path directly here, but I just wanted to conveniently define in a separate place, so I can just use the name here. And we can actually tell what is the new line character in the file. Here, I'm just going to put an empty string here and read it as a my file, right? I'm reading this as my file. So now I have something called variable. I'll put CSV reader equal to CSV, the library where we have imported here, dot reader. And then I use the my file, which I opened, and then the delimiter is like the separator of the field separator inside the file. I'll put comma. So CSV will have comma, right? And I'll put for row in CSV reader. That means I'm going to go through every row here. Let's count the number of rows here, right? And I'll put I equal to I plus 1. Okay. So since I'm going to count all the rows, I'll define like this, right? For row I equal to I plus 1. And now, while it is done, print I, right? Let me try this. I have some issue, okay? Okay, I have a typo in this field. Okay. So totally that is 210 rows in the file. Okay, let me go here and open the file here. Oh, it's actually okay. See here, I have the 210 rows, so it's finding out. Okay. So all we saw is how to open a file, and I printed the rows here. So now I wanted to just go inside the content and do some work on it, right? So if I check in my CSV file, I can see the top row is the header field, and then I have the countries here, right? So I'm going to just skip the top row, and I'm going to read from the second row. I'm going to read the first record here, and then I'm going to read the population. So I'm only going to print the country name and population, right? So let's go back to our thing. I'm just going to copy this entire thing. Okay. And do it here. Now I don't want to do anything with the I. So now I'm gonna let me see how these rows prints. Okay, so I'm gonna again put I equal to 0 instead of going through 200 rows. Let me just print right. Print row 1 and then print row 3. Right? We'll try this. Let's see what's happened. So we are getting the header also, right? So okay, let's put I equal to 0 again. I equal to I plus 1. This if I is greater than 0. Print this. So I don't want the header here. And then else. So this I equal to I plus 1 will happen only the very first time when I is not equal to 0. And then when it is greater than 0, I mean equal to 0, when it is greater than 0, it will just print the. So, always errors are good. We don't do the mistake again. So this is how it is, right? So I'm able to print exactly the country name and the population now, right? So did I print correctly? I think I'm not printing correctly. So let me see. I think this is okay. Now I am printing the country name and the population. The earlier what I printed is it was the uh, people who are affected with COVID, right? So this is just a quick example of how do you open a file and print. So I'm going to just come up with my next class as soon as possible, not like a month gap. So there I'm going to do more work with this file. Okay. Thank you guys.